Olá rapaziada, como é que vocês estão? Espero que sejam bem. Vamos aí a mais um episódio de Granblue Fantasy Relink e dessa vez nós vamos terminar os episódios do Destino de Vane, que a gente começou na história principal, mas agora a gente precisa ver até o final. Então antes de mais nada, vamos ao nosso pequeno top padrão. Pega uma de petisco, chama os amigos para se divertir, mas deixa que já quer que esse coração, se não for inscrito, aproveita e se inscreve. Bora lá. Coisa de Feindrach é um ardente defensor da justiça e despreza o mal. Tem uma personalidade despreocupada e um sorriso que nunca vacila diante das tarefas. A gente viu o prólogo, capítulo 1, capítulo 2. Agora tá na hora da gente ir pro capítulo 3 em diante, até o final. Eu acho que ele é o último que falta pra gente terminar o que começou. Aí depois o resto vai ser tudo novidade do zero, do prólogo até o último. Graças a muitos feitos, Vane é promovido a vice-capitão dos Dragões Brancos, ainda que nem todos os cavaleiros estejam convencidos do merecimento, né? As críticas deixam Vane em crise. A tripulação recruta Siegfried, Percival e, é claro, Lancelot para ajudar a tirar Vane do fundo do poço. Com o apoio dos amigos, Vane renova a meta de se tornar um herói. Até porque todo mundo pensou que ele só estava no cargo de vice porque ele é melhor amigo do capitão, entendeu? Mas não. O bichinho é bom. Coitado dele.
So this next adventure began on a day in Zega Grande like any other. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, and I was soaking up some rays after a pleasant morning of grocery shopping. That's when I heard it.
Long live the Blue Sky Knights!
Yes, the fierce cry of a child in its natural habitat. Enough to strike fear into the heart of any warrior.
I've never seen you around here. Intruder alert! Intruder alert! Knights, assemble! Cannonball formation!
They came hurtling at me, faster than the wind. I stood no chance.
We're the Blue Sky Knights, servers of justice and roasters of villains. Who goes there?
But all jokes aside, these tykes were adorable. Reminded me of my own days playing Knights and Dragons. With both hands in the air, I thought long and hard about how to respond. I for sure didn't want to pull out my usual, I'm Vane, Vice Captain of the White Dragons. I mean, capturing a real knight while playing make-believe would be an awkward sitch for the kids. But it also wouldn't be right to lie. Then, a candle lit up over my head. I'm Vane, the wayfaring chef.
Wait, you're a chef? That means you're an expert at brewing stews and baking pastries, correct?
I blinked. I hadn't expected such an energetic response. What? Oh yeah, and I've got the proof right here. I pulled out a bag of cookies, which may or may not have been meant for Vern and Lyria, but they'd understand, right? I'll bake them some more. Anyways, passed out the cookies, and in the space of a few bites, the tots were leaping around like it was their birthday. And yes, before you say anything, I do realize that bribing the future defenders of our sky with munchies might not have been the best for character building. But you should have seen their smiles.
Esse pessoal, eles não estão no jogo, assim, principal. Mas eu achei da hora ter colocado eles aqui como um secundário pra gente poder fazer a... como fala? Pra quem gosta, poder jogar com eles, o seu preferido. E as missões do pós-game, né? E também eu gostei que eles colocaram episódios do Destino desse pessoal. Pra quem não conhece. Porque no jogo não dá pra conhecer, né? Mas também se jogasse todos eles na história principal ia virar uma muvuca. Porque não é a história do... como falar, não é a história principal zona, entendeu? De tudo. Vane curte o passeio em Folca, quando um grupo de crianças auto-intituladas Cavaleiros do Céu Azul exige que ele se identifique. Não querem envergonhar as crianças por interpelar um camarada cavaleiro. Vane se apresenta como cozinheiro. O que imediatamente os conquista. Só que você não é um cozinheiro, né? Solo. Vai ter que jogar com tu e tu solo.
You have some potential, Sir Chef. I'll let you cook for us as our square. I'm Skip, by the way, captain of the Blue Sky Knights.
We were on to headhunting already? These kids didn't mess around.
Né?
I'm honored, Captain Skip. But to tell the truth, I'm kind of busy.
É tipo
right
o bicho de rua, você deu comida,
now.
vai te seguir agora.
Oh no. They were hitting me with a pout of despair in the eyes of the puppy dog. I bit my lip. This little game wouldn't take too long, right? Still, it has always been my dream to cook for the Blue Sky Knights. Squire Vane, at your service. I just didn't have it in me to rain on their parade. After dubbing me in a formal ceremony, Captain Skip raised his tiny fist in the air.
We got our chef. Next, we have to search for a base. Split up, soldiers. We meet back here in 1 hour.
The rest of the kids responded with a rousing cheer. And then, they were off.
Hey, Sir Chef, that means you too.
I saluted. Couldn't disobey direct orders from a commanding officer. Anyways, I still had time to spare. I was gonna find these kids the coolest base ever. Yeah, I was born ready.
Controlar Vane. Vane é um alegre vice-capitão da Ordem dos Dragões Brancos de Fendrosh. Em batalha, ele comumente é visto investindo impetuosamente contra as linhas inimigas. Pressione quadrado para dominar os inimigos com golpes poderosos e seu amplo ataque de triângulo permite que ele bloqueie o ataque ao mesmo tempo. Realizar combos preenche a barra de surra. Vane pode executar combos triângulos poderosos desde que a barra é suficiente para realizar os comandos. Os combos. Tá bom.
Just gotta make sure they're safe.
Inspecione o beco apertado. Inspecione o planalto panorâmico. Inspecione a praça elevada. Caramba, a gente vai ter que inspecionar tudo quanto é canto aqui. Aqui não é nada.
Whoops. Looks like this place is already occupied. Done and dusted. Now,
Pronto.
let's look for safer real estate.
Eita, que tem um monte de gente.
This is definitely not a kid-friendly joint. Let's get off!
Opa.
Like a hurricane!
Ah. Pô, eu podia ter soltado isso agora, né? Tipo, o pessoal tá aqui perto, mas tudo bem. Assim eu vou aprendendo a jogar com ele. Todos esses eu tô jogando pela primeira vez. Nenhum eu fiz treino de nada.
Workout and a half? Think I might be in monster territory. Man, Nancy and I used to love exploring the woods.
Um lugar seguro para a base secreta, assim é difícil.
It's a party up in here. But it looks like I wasn't invited. Buckle up! And now that that's over, back to the search.
De volta à busca. Eu não posso me perder. Na verdade já me perdi, né? Mas tudo bem.
spacious, but a dead end like this could be dangerous.
Né? Bem, um lugar a gente já viu. Ótimo. Aqui.
Monsters, perfect size and location? Wait, I think I see a path on the other side of that thicket. I bet it leads to Folka.
Será que já é aqui já? Ui, já é aqui já.
Captain Skip! I think I found it! I led the kids to a sweet glade I discovered in the woods. It was right next to a big thoroughfare, so they wouldn't have to worry about monsters or getting lost. I mean, if I could find my way back, then anyone could. Still, the place was surrounded by some nifty bushes and trees that shaded it from prying eyes. All in all, I think I did pretty well. And judging from all the frolicking going on, the Tykes agreed. Captain Skip pulled out a handmade flag that he'd apparently just been carrying around and stuck it in the ground.
This land is now the hideout of the Blue Sky Knights!
And sure, the thought, technically Knights don't have hideouts, flashed into my mind, but you can't expect kids to know that. Actually, you know what? These Tykes might be onto something. Maybe I should ask Lancey for our own secret base later. Anyway, for the time being, I was in what had to be one of the top 10 hideouts in all the skies. I found a nice, plush patch of moss and plopped down. It was a good day.
Vane recebeu outro espaço de selo.
Yeah? All right. Your stomach growling? Give it what it... Hello there.
Lições de vida. Os Cavaleiros do Céu Azul e Vane varreram a floresta atrás de um bom lugar para montar o esconderijo. Vane acha um ponto perfeito. As crianças imediatamente içam a bandeira da tropa. Curtir com as crianças é tão parecido com a própria infância que Vane decide ficar mais um tempinho com elas.
Every time the crew touched down in Folka, I would make a beeline for the Blue Sky hideout. Half of it was me being a responsible adult and wanting to make sure the Tykes were okay. But there was also the call of duty. Wouldn't be much of a chef's square if I let the troops go hungry, would I? Don't worry, I didn't stuff the kids with just carbs. I also fed them knowledge. Things like what fruit to eat, what shrooms and plants were poisonous, how to tell if a flower had edible nectar, and where to hide from monsters. Lesson number 1, though, was how to locate drinkable water. The kids were living on the edge of a forest, after all. One day, this information could save their lives. For now, at least, it was all in good fun, and the Tykes were loving it. Whenever I gave them a demonstration, they'd rush to repeat it. 9 times out of 10, they'd fail, but instead of getting discouraged, they started a race to see who could get it right fastest. And I'd always get this strange feeling that I'd traveled back in time. Back to when I was a squire, a Fiendrock, just beginning to discover the world.
Hey, Sir Chef, see that bug up there? You think you can catch it?
Gotcha. All right, gather around, Knights. So, this little guy is super good at sensing monsters. Whenever danger approaches, he's the first to hide. There's actually a rhyme about it. Goes, bug on tree, monster free. Bug in ground, monsters around. Those kids were the most inquisitive students you could hope to meet. Soaked up knowledge like a sponge. If I had to choose just one lesson I wanted them to take away, though, it would be know when to ask for help. Because reaching out to others isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of trust. And without trust, you can't build an order of knights or any relationship.
Uhum.
Growing up doesn't mean you have to solve all your problems alone. I hoped the kids wouldn't lose sight of that, as I once did.
Ah, não vão perder, não. Episódio 6, o que faz um cavaleiro. Sempre que Vane está em Folca, visita os Cavaleiros do Céu Azul. As crianças são cheias de curiosidade e parecem dispostas a aprender tudo sobre qualquer coisa. Vane fica feliz em ajudar, mas as lições mais importantes que ele quer transmitir é quando pedir ajuda.
One sunny afternoon, I was heading to the woods with the Tykes when I saw a boy crouched in the shadow of the city walls. Who's he? An innocent question, but Captain Skip glowered and folded his arms.
Just some weirdo from Temple. He always looks like his balloon just popped. Once, I asked him if he wanted to be a knight, and he started crying. It's probably better to just leave him alone.
Skip ended this bit with a snort that said, "And that's that." But I couldn't help glancing back at the boy. There was something about him that seemed so lonely. Hey, Captain Skip. This is just my humble opinion, but isn't the duty of a knight to help people? Especially those who kinda sorta look like they might be in need. At this, Skip's face puckered up so hard, you'd have thought I squeezed lemon juice into his mouth. I got where the little dude was coming from, though. It wasn't always easy to do the right thing. But that's what made it so rewarding.
You're not wrong, Sir Chef. Defending justice means defending the weak.
Skip dashed over to the city walls. After what looked like a pretty one-sided conversation, he came back with the boy in tow.
Say hello to the newest member of the Blue Sky Knights!
I couldn't keep from smiling. In that moment, Skip and the lonely boy were the mirror image of Lancey and me when we were kids.
Episódio 7, quanto mais melhor. Um dia Vane nota um menino triste e solitário. Skip diz que o menino veio de Temporal e não passa de um chorão a ser ignorado. Vane discorda. Não é dever dos cavaleiros ajudar os necessitados? Skip muda de ideia e, no mesmo instante, correndo até o menino, o nomeia um cavaleiro do céu azul imediatamente. É, quanto mais
It didn't take
melhor.
long for Noobs and the rest of the Tykes to become fast friends. Oh, that's the nickname they gave to the boy from Temple, by the way. Noobs. Within weeks, Noobs had transformed into one of the brightest and most active kids in the city. But he'd had a reason to be sad. Turned out, Noobs had lost his parents in the Temple incident. He'd moved to Folca after being adopted by relatives. Poor kid deserves some sweetness in his life, after all that bitterness. I did what I could for him, bringing my best creations to the Blue Sky hideout. Today's special was one of Lancey's favorites, Vane's Paradise Pudding. Smooth, creamy, and so very rich.
Me deu vontade de comer
The
pudim
sugar had
agora.
apparently put the kids in a talkative mood. They'd barely gotten their spoons out of their mouths when they started competing for the title of Best Food Commentator. Eventually, this evolved into a debate on which Vane creation was the tastiest. Captain Skip claimed it was the cookies I'd given them the day we met, because they were seasoned with memories. Pretty poetic for a kid of like 7. I love those cookies too, though. They were a recipe from Grandma. Even Noobs was eager for a piece of the action. Warmed my heart to see the shy little guy come out of his shell. But you know how it is with this world. The skies are clearest right before the storm.
Vai acontecer merda. Ai, que merda vai acontecer? Batalha. Cavaleiro perdido. Os Cavaleiros do Céu Azul apelidaram o novo integrante de Noobs. Não demora para o menino abrir as asinhas. Vane e as crianças se divertem no esconderijo da floresta, se empanturrando com as refeições que Vane prepara. Mas o que vai acontecer de ruim? Vai ter que jogar com Vane nessa missão. Ok.
My next visit to Folka? I could tell something was wrong as soon as I stepped foot in the city. All the adults stood huddled outside their homes, discussing, arguing. A few were weeping. Turns out, it was the Tykes. They had gone missing. The news hit me like an oncoming airship. I remembered how to breathe again. I rushed over to Ace, one blue sky knight who'd stayed behind.
Ixi, que aconteceu?
What do we do? What if they never come back?
I'll find them, I promise. But you need to tell me what happened. It started with Noobs. Still unused to the layout of Folka, he'd gotten lost in the woods. After about 6 hours, Skip put together a search team and went after him, without telling any adults. Now a full day had passed, and all four, Noobs, Skip, Beats, and Fessa, still hadn't returned. The whole time he was talking, Ace was shaking from head to toe. I put both my hands on his shoulders and gave him the warmest smile I could muster. You did good, Ace. Now leave the rest to me. I went straight to the Grand Cipher. Needed to recruit as many eyes as I could get. Those kids were my friends, and the future of the skies. I wasn't going to let anything happen to them.
Vamos lá, vamos encontrar eles.
Hold on, guys. I'm coming for you.
Oh, o esconderijo ficou bonitinho.
Keep your eyes peeled.
O esconderijo ficou bem simpático. A gente só precisa encontrar eles agora. Encontra as crianças.
This fruit, it's still fresh. They have to be near.
Corre!
They'll be fine. I know they will. Out of my way! Now!
Mongrel has tricks. Heed my call! One for all! Looking good.
Vai. Foi tudo? Foi tudo. Vamos.
I taught them how to camouflage themselves in this grass. They probably head out for monsters around here.
Mega
You don't
potion.
think the monsters have already gotten to them?
No, they're okay. They have to be.
Ai.
Looking good. It's over!
Foi tudo, foi tudo.
Water hasn't dried up yet. You have to be close. I'm coming!
Vamos. Nossa.
Hey, pick on someone your own size.
Justo grifo.
Sir Chef!
You guys aren't hurt, right? Just wait a little longer.
Nossa, tomei uma.
I will be your guiding light. Heed my call! Now for ruin!
Vamos, vem pro chão, desgraça.
Seize them! They're next wave is coming.
This is gonna get ugly.
Be careful.
Isso. Lá vai. Corre! Isso. Dummy.
Here they come. Eager to see their limits. The fire of war.
Caramba, nem consegui ver isso. Tomei que não devia. Vai, meu filho. Vai, corre. Corre! É.
No way! You won! Looks like the little squirts
Sim.
are doing just fine.
Yeah, I think I need a moment.
Thanks. You did good, Sir Chef.
Skip still had enough in him to put on a brave face. That was a good sign.
Uhum.
As I checked the rest of the tykes for injuries, I could feel that familiar tingle in my tear ducts. But I held it in. Kids had gone through enough. Without a grown man showering them in snot. I'm so glad you pulled through. The Blue Sky Knights really are amazing. Captain Skip immediately lightened the mood by trying to fit his hands around my biceps.
Whoa! I had no idea you were so strong.
Byrne, who'd been hovering nearby, crossed his paws.
You think those tree trunks are just for show? Vane's a trained knight, vice captain of the White Dragons. The White Dragons? Wait, Sir Chef, you were an actual knight?
Oh no. The upturned eyes of betrayed innocence. The ultimate technique. I started to sweat. I mean, yes, technically, but I hadn't actually lied to them, but hiding the truth was just as bad. I steeled myself for the eruption, but it never came.
Wow, a real knight! You need to let me interrogate you for my notes later.
Tá bom.
No wonder you kick butt! Dude, awesome!
I should have known. Those kids would never turn on a friend.
Uhum. Que fofo, recebeu outro espaço de selo. Agora vamos terminar essa história. Eu não sei por que volta pra cá. Caramba. Né? Todos por um. A visita mais recente vem a cidade diferente. Noob se perdeu na floresta, levando os Cavaleiros do Céu em uma busca sem avisar os adultos. E todos, exceto Ace, acabaram perdidos também. Vane corre para a floresta e encontra as crianças resgatas de um ataque de monstro bem a tempo. A verdadeira identidade de Vane como cavaleiro é revelada e, para sua surpresa, as crianças não se importam em terem sido enganadas. Que bom.
Wish I could say all's well that ends well, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. As we started back for Folka, I decided the kids and I needed to have a serious talk. All right, spill it. why'd you all go into the woods alone?
Uhum.
Noob's
É hora
was in
das
trouble,
broncas.
And, you know, it's the duty of a knight to help people. I just thought we had to save him.
Skip spoke down to his shoes. I felt my heart drop. It's the duty of a knight to help people. Those had been my words, so I was to blame for this whole mess. Skies above, why do I always... But before I could chase this dark train of thought any further, a small tug on my sleeve brought me back.
All those survival skills you taught us really helped.
Uhum.
Yeah, thanks to you, we were able to properly locate food and water. And hide from monsters.
I was so proud of them. But now was not the time to encourage their recklessness with praise. Do you realize how worried everyone was? If anything bad happened, your friends would be hurt big time, not to mention your families.
Uhum.
Yes, as knights, you have a duty to protect. But as people, you have a duty to your loved ones. So remember, the Tykes chimed in for this next line.
Know when to ask for help.
Aí, né?
Now,
O que
it's
vocês
time
não
to be proud.
fizeram.
Crouching so I was eye to eye with the blue sky knights, I held out my pinky. It's a promise, okay? An oath between knights.
Capítulo final, Ordem de Vane. Quando Vane pergunta às crianças por que elas saíram correndo da floresta adentro atrás de noobs sem contar a ninguém, a resposta é que o dever deles como cavaleiro é ajudar os necessitados. Vane se aborrece. Era a ideia certa na hora errada. Em vez de elogiar as crianças, ele lhes passa um sermão. Vane e os meninos fazem um jura de cavaleiro de saber a hora de pedir ajuda.
I recently returned to Folka to find the Tykes holding a serious discussion. According to Skip, they were in big trouble for marching deep into the woods without adult supervision. As punishment, the Blue Sky Knights had to disband.
Ah.
The kids didn't look too upset, though. Au contraire. Skip stood feet apart, head high, one fist reaching for the sky.
Today, we form the Order of Vane.
Yes, they'd found a loophole. I mean, what did the grown-ups expect? These kids were joined at the hip.
Né?
No one's found the hideout yet. I say we train there till we're all super cool knights like Vane.
Kids and their stupid dreams, right? You know, I never thought that one day I'd have a group of mini-me's, which is nice, but also kind of scary. Because what if you set a bad example, let them down the wrong path, on and on?
É.
It's enough to make you want to run and
É
hide.
muita responsabilidade.
That's not what knights do. We stand our ground. We support each other. And with the best friends in the skies looking out for me, I know I can become just the kind of hero these kids deserve.
Essa história foi fofa. Eu gostei. Conversa entre ouvida. Nova anotação descoberta. E com isso completamos todos os episódios de Destino de Vane. E eu espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se você gostar, deixa aquele joinha, é só clicar, coloca um comentário falando que você achou, compartilha com os amigos, que é muito importante. E se não for inscrito no canal, aproveita, se inscreve e ative o sininho para receber notificação dos próximos vídeos. Muito obrigado e até o próximo.